Gaming news is about one thing, gaming. But if it was about two things, the second one would still also be gaming. It's in the name. Rockstar has updated GTA 5 with BattlEye anti-cheat 9 years after its PC release, as first discovered by data miner Tez on Twitter. I'm sure this decision has no downsides, other than the fact that users of Linux operating systems, such as the one famously found on the Steam Deck, can no longer play a game that they've presumably enjoyed for multiple years at this point.
It's foolproof.
The official patch notes say players can disable BattlEye in the Rockstar Games launcher for offline story mode, and the launch argument -no BattlEye can be used to disable the software in third-party launchers, aka Steam. As confirmed in an official FAQ, the Steam Deck will not support BattlEye for GTA Online, and I think that's probably the closest Rockstar is going to get to officially recognizing the existence of Linux. What's annoying about this situation is that it seemingly has an easy fix. Valve said way back in 2021, that BattlEye is super compatible with their Linux compatibility layer, Proton, to the point where a developer simply has to reach out to BattlEye to enable it. What, did everyone at Rockstar drop their phones in the toilet? Make the call! The next Battlefield game will return to a modern setting, according to Respawn CEO and Battlefield boss Vince Zampella, a man who is apparently allowed to do anything at EA except make Titanfall 3. Why? Zampella, who became overseer of the Battlefield series in 2021, we're talking about that year a lot today, described something of a return to form for the franchise in an exclusive interview with IGN. For example, the specialists that were introduced in Battlefield 2042 will not be returning. Thank you, and will be replaced by the more traditional class system seen in previous entries. I'm very happy about this.
Can't you tell? I'm so enthused.
On top of that, the maps this time around will go back to being designed for 64-player skirmishes rather than the 128-player matches 2042 initially supported. And yes, the magic words were stated. Zampella was quick to mention Battlefields 3 and 4 and his desire to return to that pinnacle for the series. Make Battlefield great again. In other words, listen, I'm a simple guy. I just want to see 30 people running around killing each other with defibrillators and I'm happy. Today marks the official release of the revised Player's Handbook for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It doesn't have a very good or cool name, but it makes up for that by trying to fix many issues with the decade-old 5th edition of the world's most popular tabletop role-playing game. The 2024 Handbook reportedly features a more user-friendly design meant to make it easier to introduce new players. For starters, races are now called species, which probably makes some biology professor somewhere smile. Unfortunately, half races, like half orcs and half elves, have been excised from the book, probably because the designers at Wizards of the Coast decided to smartly sidestep how weird and complex real-world biological hybridization gets.
It's all fun and games in the playgroup until your friends start debating whether or not a human and a dragonborn can have fertile offspring.
Weapon mastery has been added, which allow martial classes to get special abilities from certain weapons they're proficient in. Think of them like the weapon-specific actions from Baldur's Gate 3, but you can use them more often. Classes themselves have been overhauled, with the monk now seeming well-balanced compared to other classes. Whereas before, playing D&D as a monk was kind of like watching the Karate Kid backwards. I'm sure that the people who get that joke loved it.
It's the story of a kid who gets bullied so bad after a karate tournament, him and his mom move back to Newark, New Jersey.
Still don't get it. If you prefer to move forwards most of the time, check out our sponsor, World Anvil. It's an all-in-one software for tabletop gamers, fantasy novelists, and anyone who loves creative world building, with interactive maps and tools to help you build an original setting. There's a digital GM screen and campaign manager with support for 45+ tabletop RPG systems, including a robust library of character sheets and stat blocks. And there's a ton of other cool tools as well for game masters, players, fantasy/sci-fi authors, and multimedia storytellers. Because World Anvil always keeps you one step ahead, you can save 51% on a premium subscription at wanvil.com/gamelinked. Quick bits are all about speed. Does that make sense? Like, we don't want to waste a minute repeating ourselves. Do you understand? I'm not sure you're getting it, but we're out of time. Bethesda's experiments with charging for fan-made mods in Skyrim and Fallout have gone swimmingly and stirred up zero controversy. So now EA wants in on the fun. In a blog post, the publisher announced it will soon officially publish the Sims 4 creator kits built by community creators. Will these cost $5 like the Sims existing kits? And if so, will the creators get paid? That's not in the post, because it's not important, silly. EA does talk about how creator kits will join other official content coming down the pipe for The Sims 4, because The Sims 5 ain't coming. Because why would it, when people can just keep buying stuff for Sims 4? Why? Think. Indie game The Plucky Squire came out today. Is it indie though? What does indie mean?
Why are you coming at me like this?
More at 11.
Their publisher is literally Devolver Digital, which handles indie games.
Okay, fine. It came out today after being announced 2 years ago. Apparently, the title was revealed so early because Studio All Possible Futures was worried someone else was going to make a game about 2D characters jumping out of a book and into a 3D world. Many reviews have praised the game's inventive ideas and mechanics, but others believe they were not used to their full potential. But they would do it right in their game. Some outlets have gone so far as to suggest the developers had trouble balancing the game for both kids and grown-ups. But to be fair, there are some very smart kids and very dumb adults. Final Fantasy XVI finally launched for PC this morning, and apparently PS5s everywhere had a bit of a meltdown over it. A firmware update for the console seems to have borked the game's performance mode, causing hilarious graphical glitches, like this one, where black nothingness slowly envelops the world around you, drowning out all memory and hope of ever seeing the sun again.
What a metaphor for my life.
Don't worry, PlayStationistas, Square Enix is on it. Not sure if they can do anything about similar errors popping up in Wukong, No Man's Sky, and Star Wars Outlaws, but maybe they could take a look. Reforj Studios, best known for developing the console version of Minecraft, has announced a new open-world multiplayer survival sandbox called Reforj. Reforj. How do you... With a J, in case you were wondering.
As an affront to Scandinavians.
Reforj.
Yeah.
Oh no, Bjorn is editing this video. He'll be upset. It will even feature both mining and crafting. However, according to Joseph Stampy Garrett, sorry, I need to stop. A popular Minecraft YouTuber who joined the studio earlier this year, Reforj is more than Minecraft 2 and will be able to leverage next-gen hardware to create bigger and more ambitious worlds for players to explore. The game is based on Forj's own in-house efficiency-focused Elements engine, which they started working on around 5 years ago, even before Unity shot itself in the foot, repeatedly, and at point-blank range. And the return of viral mobile game Flappy Bird has taken an odd twist. The game's original creator, Dong Nguyen, apparently had nothing to do with the revival. Instead, it was the result of a long campaign of legal maneuvering by a crypto-adjacent company, GameTech Holdings, sounds evil, to have Flappy Bird declared an abandoned IP so they could take it for themselves. If you were busy being a small child back in 2014, the original reason Nguyen gave for removing Flappy Bird was the guilt he felt over the game's addictiveness. And if he felt that bad about using a mobile game to exploit people for ad money, you can probably deduce what he thinks of crypto.
He loves it.
You should think of coming back on Thursday for more gaming news. It's good for you, keeps the mind sharp. If you're up to date with gaming news, you'll get more headshots. That's just science. Come on.
And your dad will be proud of you.